Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, since this is a psychology channel, I might get into some triggering material to people's traumas. So watch with care, truly. Let's watch.
Mom's house.
Okay.
Shaeeda started last night with D-, maybe even an F. Very close. She had a lot of things that came out of her mouth that I did not like.
Yikes. I mean, I don't need to repeat what I've been saying thus far, but you hear it, right? The infantilization, the belittling, the paternalism / I don't want to hear you complaining messages and attitude of sexism. I don't know if they're there. You know, when I assess clients around this, there's a lot of questions that I have to ask them. It could just be semantics. It's hard, though, to imagine that behind all those words and all those phrases and all those messages is someone with a balanced idea of gender.
Welcome to your new home. This is where you'll be staying at.
Oh my God. Oh, it's time, Bilal.
This is where you'll be staying at.
Oh my God. Oh my God, yes. You mind if I lecture it?
You like?
Love.
Well, she's certainly taking it well. I feel so bad for her, though. The fact that she's put in that position, and I don't know, maybe she's just happy that she's in this house, and then later she'll think, well, wait, what? Did you lie to me that entire time? Was that necessary?
Last night, I felt like an elephant was on my shoulder. So much was on my mind. But now I feel like it's easier to breathe now, seeing what, he welcomed me to and what we have together now. But moving forward, I would always be a little skeptical when it comes to trusting what he says 100%.
Yeah, the damage to one's trust would be there. Now, there's a chance that for her, she'd think, well, under what circumstance would he play a game like that again? But I don't know. If someone did this to me, I would be really concerned that someone could lie straight to my face, a bald-faced lie, if you will, just over and over and over. I could not do that. I don't think my wife could do that. I don't think so. I think, one, it would hurt too much to do and you just wouldn't want to. Two, you'd probably start laughing. I can't tell. I got to tell you, I think it says something, and if I were her, I would think, wow, I mean, the ease at which he did that over and over and over again with me is concerning and notable.
Let's say one day if I was a millionaire, as an example, and I lost everything and I had to live like in a small studio apartment, like, would you be with me? Would you ride or die?
I got upset.
Yeah, and you told me, 100%. So I wanted to see if that was true. How you were last night, it kind of took me by surprise.
This whole thing is just so, I don't know, hard to watch. I mean, I guess she's dealing with it okay. She is appreciating the house. And the fact that we're still in him lecturing her about her character through this whole thing, it's hard to watch. I'm hoping that they'll just get over this whole game and we can move on and they won't have conflict, or their conflict will be constructive and they'll be respectful of each other. I'm just hoping that this is just this weird phase that they went through for the show, and it'll never happen again.
They're like, okay, so you actually put me through hell, like some sort of twisted practical joke. I came to KC and left everything behind, including my family. I trust him with my life. But this whole testing scenario feels like he don't trust me.
Yeah, okay. She sees that, and she's upset about it in the one-on-one interview, which makes sense.
And I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who does not trust me.
I got a little something else to show you.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, or maybe I did and reacted to it, but that needs to be said as well, that the insult that this would be to someone, that so you thought that I was a gold digger, or the possibility, to such an extent that you played that elaborate game and lied to me for that many hours because you thought I didn't really want to be with you, or that I was a horrible, horrible human being who would catfish someone or who would manipulate someone in that way. That's how you think that there's a possibility that that's who I am. In what universe did I give you the impression that I was like that? And what? And have we put that to rest? Because that's some serious crap. Having said all that, maybe she has done things to indicate to him. We didn't hear that. I would assume we would have from him as a justification for what he did, but we don't know.
Oh my God. This is like my namaste room. Oh my God, Bilal.
This whole scene would be complete. I would feel completely different about it if he hadn't played that game and lied to her. I would be like, oh, he's proud of his house. He's worked hard for it. And he picked out certain things for her. She loves it. I would feel really happy for the two of them. But as it is, I don't feel that way.
So my whole prank kind of backfired. It just blew up in my face.
I love the mirrors. Oh my God.
I'm not for sure if Shaeeda got the message per se. And it does wear me a bit that, she's pretty happy over, all of this versus just me.
Yeah, yikes. And so even after the first thing he said was, oh, it kind of backfired. I'm like, you think? Because I was hoping or detecting maybe that he, even the first night, was thinking, oh, maybe I took this too far. But no, afterwards he's saying, actually, I'm still wondering about the whole thing. Maybe I should have let it last longer while we were at the other house. I still question it. Now, why would he do this? Well, I'm just going to take a guess and say that he's been rejected and abandoned before, either in his childhood or in his adult life, and has not healed from that pain and is projecting those aspects that he internalized from the past onto her. And this is what we do. I don't talk about projective identification very often because it's kind of complicated, but in a nutshell, let's just say, for the sake of hypothetical, he was rejected in the past significantly and abandoned, and in the conclusion, he realized, oh, they never loved me, or that was his narrative. And so he rewrote that history of like, wait, they never loved me. They were manipulating me the whole time. They were using me the whole time. And so he internalizes that relationship, and he internalizes a perception of the self, which is having been used and abandoned, a perception of the other as the abandoner, the user. That becomes an internalization. Then in his mind, that has tension because inside of him, that internalization, that dyad, that interject, is at war with itself, is one metaphor to use. And it will manifest in self-talk, in pain, and various other kinds of discomforts and psychic problems. Then your mind, your ego, says, we got to do something with this. Plus, we want to make up for that bad experience in the past. So let's recreate it and hope that it goes better this time. But we have to find someone that will be easily projected onto at least one half of this dyad. And if we find someone that is from another country that at least we perceive as someone that might need us and could possibly exploit me for my wealth or my citizenship, then if I find someone like that, subconsciously, this is all subconsciously, I will know that it'll be this huge question mark as to whether or not they're using me because I'm trying to recreate that past relationship. So I find that person and then I rush into it very quickly because that will make me even more likely to have a question mark. Because if he just slowed down, then there wouldn't be a question of him being used because their relationship would have just been dating and that sort of thing for a while. Anyway, so he projects that other, remember it was the other person that abandoned and used him. And then he internalized that, and then he projected one side. You can project the perception of the self on other people, and I'll get to that in a sec. So he projects the side of the abandoner and the user, and not only does he choose someone that lends itself to that projection, but also distorts their behavior and reality to fit the vibe or the recreation. So for him, he seems quite convinced that she has a high likelihood of abandoning him and using him, even though we don't see any evidence of that. There could be evidence of it. We don't know. Doesn't seem to be strong evidence in terms of what we've been presented, but who knows. And but at the same time, the way projective identification works is that you can simultaneously project both sides and identify with both sides. So in the first example, he's identifying with himself in the past relationship and projecting the other onto the other. Or at times he is identifying with the other and projecting the self. And how is he doing that? He's doing it at the exact same time, which is common but not always the case. That as he is projecting the other onto her and seeing her as an abandoner and a user and a liar, he plays this game, the fake house, what he calls a joke or a prank, which I would never call that a prank or a joke. I would call that a lie to try to catch someone on a lie. You're lying to catch someone on a lie. So that's what I would call it, because that's what it is. And in the process, you're using someone and rejecting them in a certain way. You're saying, you're a gold digger, you're using me, I'm going to reject you. At the very least, I'm going to reject your character, I'm going to reject who you are, I'm going to reject your fakery, that you're trying to fake me out. So at the same time that he's projecting the other and identifying with the self, in terms of the dyad, he's identifying with the other, whoever abandoned him and used him. He's now abandoning and using and projecting the self and making her feel the way that he felt when he was younger. Does everyone get that? We all do this, and it's a model. Of course, there's no science to this because it's just a way of seeing things, but it does have a very powerful explanatory power. As a lot of the theories go in the field of psychology and psychotherapy, not a lot of them try to explain why humans do strange things like this. Why would we go through a horrible experience in our childhood and proceed to unconsciously recreate it dozens of times with dozens of people in our adulthood? You'd think it would be the opposite. If we were abused growing up, you'd think we would know how to avoid abusers, know to avoid abusers. We've been down that road before. We don't need to do that again. But time and time again, for those who have been through abuse growing up, they're much more likely to be in abusive relationships or even be the abuser when they're an adult. Why do we do that? Well, various reasons. But one of the ways of looking at it is through psychodynamic theory and psychoanalytic theory, object relations, and projective identification as a part of that. So it's interesting to think about, right? And it is helpful to recognize that in yourself because you can bring it into awareness and have more control over it.
Hold on.
I know, right?
Okay. There you go.
But I'm hoping that she's grateful of just the things that she has.
Okay. More surprises?
Yeah.
All right, a few things. One, you can join the conversations on the Facebook fan page, the Discord, the comments below, the subreddit, other kinds of places. Also, we have merch, links below for t-shirts and mugs, and I have a Cameo if you want me to give a shout out, birthday. By the way, if you ever submit one of those things, please give some detail, because sometimes people just say, tell them happy birthday, and I'm like, okay, that's going to take like 5 seconds for me to do. How do I? Because usually, you want to say a few things. So, give me some details or ask a question or something. But, it's up to you. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.